Welcome, Chosen One.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Plays channel. It's a new week, it's Monday, and of course that means new videos. Sorry for not posting on Friday. I know normally I do like patch day uploads, but those videos are usually rushed, and of course I have no idea what I'm doing. So I decided to just sit this one out, but I did play a good bit of Gwent over the weekend. I tried out a couple of decks. One of them is Greatswords, which you're seeing right now in this video. And yeah, that's what I'm going to show you today. This is a Greatsword deck that I put together myself, which is why it's not optimized at all. In the first two games, I will be running Akvist, but in the second two, I switched it out for Geralt. Akvist wasn't really... I don't know, it wasn't performing as well as, I thought when I put it in. I guess on paper it's better than it really is. It's still a good card. But, I figured since we're playing Hemdall, the brand new Hemdall in this deck, it would be cool to try Geralt, which of course moves stuff onto the ranged row, it damages it, and it sets up a extra 3 points on Hemdall. If you have a Greatsword there, it's all good. Synergy is back. And yeah, we also have the new Tursek Veteran, only as a one-of, but after playing more and more against Skellige decks, I've started to see how good that card actually is now, in combination with Svalbard Priest. It's usually better in a more dedicated self-wound deck. This is not a dedicated self-wound deck at all. I actually considered taking out the self-wound package, but it is pretty good. And there's not really much that we could put in instead. So we're gonna get Sheerroot. Sheerroot for 5 was a very common thing this day. Haven't seen much of it afterwards. This was recorded on... Let's see, was this Friday? This might have been Friday. No, this was Saturday. It doesn't actually matter. But this was Saturday. The decks you will see me play against in this video were definitely the most common ones. Some of them are still around even today, Monday. But on Saturday, these were definitely the biggest decks. And we drew Hemdall. It is so good to see Hemdall as just a big play. At 12 provisions, I'm pretty sure he's the most expensive Skellige card in general, which is so good. And the fact that he's actually worth the cost, ooh, my boy Hemdall is seeing some justice. I guess, to quote Hemdall himself, finally. I love his quotes. Like his voice lines are so... Like when I think of Hemdall, I don't know Hemdall from the lore. I just know him from this card, but I'm not really expecting those voice lines when I look at that card. But hey, I posted this deck onto the Discord, where I also listed my win rate with this. I went 8 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Which was a pretty good rate. I was very satisfied with that rate. Playing in rank 5, this deck got me to rank 4. And, it's a homebrew deck. Of course, a lot of this deck builds itself, as many Gwent decks do, reminiscent of open beta. But, it's an awesome deck. Like, this deck right now is really dear to my heart. As I mentioned in my very first Greatswords video, Greatswords, the ability that Greatswords has used to be on the Tursek Axeman, and we used to have Axeman decks in open beta. And that was the first deck that I ever played. I actually played it when I got into the closed beta. I made a Axeman deck, I loved it. When open beta released, I scrapped. I milled so much of my collection just to build the fully formed Axeman deck that I had from closed beta. And I just always loved that deck. That deck is probably why Skellige is my favorite faction. And it's so cool to be able to play it. Or, you know, the new version of it. And also include Hemdall, which, I mean, you guys know how much I like Hemdall. You know, Hemdall is potentially the reason... I mean, Hemdall is the reason that my channel got that huge boost after the December 4th patch. I gained like 600 subscribers in 4 or 5 days. It was amazing. Like, I went from below 200, which I was very content with at the time, to, yeah, like 700 something, and then, you know, later the same month we hit 1,000, and it was all because of my Hemdall video. People seem to really enjoy it. That was like the thing I was known for back then. Of course, later it's become Mill, I guess, and some other janky shit, but it's all good. As you can see, Akvist is coming down. Like, it's gonna be decent value, but I don't know. I'm still figuring out this deck for sure. You guys know I'm not an expert deck builder, but these past 3 weeks, maybe more, I have built a lot of my own decks and played those instead of net decking, because all the net decks were DJ, Foltest, Meve, Tier 1, Kalanth, Double Portal. All the net decks were things that I swore that I wouldn't play. So I was forced to build my own decks, and I had a good time with it. And now, you know, playing this and playing Assimilate, my Assimilate deck has definitely changed quite a bit since the last patch. I'm very happy with it. Might do a guide on it later. But yeah, just playing my own decks, it feels good. And I think I've learned a lot about deck building. And it is fun. It is fun. So maybe I won't be a notorious net decker forever. Maybe I'll actually be the guy that sometimes makes his own decks. But you guys have listened to me ramble for probably too long. Just one last thing to mention before we get into some gameplay commentary. There's no audio on the gameplay, and that is because I forgot to mute my microphone. So it recorded everything. Recorded my clicking, my breathing, my wife listening to YouTube very loudly right over there. So I had to mute the gameplay, sadly. This has only happened once before. I hoped it would never happen again, because I usually check it. But it happened, so hopefully with the music, with my commentary, you'll be fine. That's the dream, at least. But now, why don't we talk about some actual gameplay? Demon Worship is a card I really love. It is so good now. It's a 6 for 5, individual pings, so Greatswords love it. And it's 3 damage, so like one of my favorite control deck, and I don't play a lot of control decks, but my favorite control deck is Crack Control. And Demon Worship combined with Crack Ping and Light Longship pings, it's so good. It's so good. Like, just being able to kill so many things using a decent value bronze and just like random pings. It is cool. I love it. But yeah, we're playing against Queen Meve. And our on Crate Longship made sure that Annis Ranger would not be boosted on deploy. Which, of course, it doesn't actually matter, because he didn't have a unit to the left anyway, but it would have mattered in the long run. Playing down a Torrential Rain. I'm sorry, guys. I am probably fangirling out, but I just love this deck so much. It plays Torrential Rain. It plays one of the Bronze Weathers with like a serious purpose. How cool is that? Like, that is also like open beta vibes, where weather mattered. and you had like monsters had a frost archetype, they had a fog archetype, you know, axemen, which were the old greatswords. You know, they played. Did they play Torrential Rain? I don't think they really did, but they could, because Torrential Rain has that ability that it does 2 damage, but it does it in 2 pings. So if you have greatswords or axemen back then, whew, I just love this deck. I also regret putting my Svalbard Priest on the back row there, and I think I actually highlighted with my mouse right now. Maybe I don't. Or did I already do it? I didn't pay attention. But yeah, I should have just placed it on the melee row. There we go. Yep. There you go, past me. You messed up. Because now we're just losing value. Because we have so many cards that go on the melee row, so it's going to lose some points. That Visigoth is not getting a lot of charges, luckily, because we are pinging a lot of his stuff. And we're actually doing really well on points. Really well. Now, of course, this deck does have the classic finisher of Harald the Cripple and Dagger 2 Blades for just a big 20-point play. Which does give us the flexibility to go into a short round. My version of the deck has a lot of engines that like long rounds, and there was a game where I was really punished for that. It's actually in this video. I don't think a longer round or a more short round suited deck would have helped, but I did get punished for it. It takes away some of that flexibility, so maybe we should take out some of the engines in this deck and just put in more instant value cards. You go for a more mid-rangey style. I think that could be pretty good. You know, greatswords are engines that we don't really need to have like 12 engines to bait out removal, because the greatswords they rack up some series points on deploy if you play them correctly. And I regret not having water. My bottle is right over there and it is filled. So let me just slide out of the camera for a little bit. Oh, that squeaky chair is good. That's how you know it's a new week of Ace of Plays videos. Mediocre content at best. Oh, that is good. That is water. I know some people enjoy my stay hydrated comments, so we gotta bring them back every now and then. It's important to stay hydrated, especially when you're going to be speaking for 30 minutes, trying to make enjoyable content for a bunch of people. So why don't we talk about Freya's Blessing? This card got a big change. It, along with other cards, gained the Alchemy tag, which is great for Skelligan, now actually being able to play Alchemy-centric decks. But it also now only costs 6 provisions. It is so good. Okay, so this play is potentially a little bit risky. We'll lose a few points off of our leader ability. And of course we're setting up Dagger 2 Blades really early. The thing is, we don't have last say anyway, which I find myself very often not having a last say with this deck, usually because I bleed and don't get the 2-0. And of course, when you're not going to get last say anyway, it's not really that imperative to save Dagger and Harald for later, for last even. So just playing him out. That Reynard would have gotten like 9 points already with what is on his board, and he still has 3 more cards. So we were looking at like 12 points, a 12-point card. So I'm happy with my decision to take it out. And here we're going to resurrect Yeah, Demon Warship. Take off the shield and deal a couple of damage. Which, of course, you know, having played Dagger already, you know, makes plays like this a lot better. And we're going to finish off with my boy Hemdall. There's one shield on the back row, but we're still going to get 3 damage. Guaranteed to go through. Which makes it an 11-point card. That also triggered Dagger. So it's pretty good. And our opponent has a lot of points to make up. And I just couldn't do it. This deck has a lot of points. When it really does its thing, look at my curly beard. When it really pulls off its strategy, it's got so many points. Yeah, boy. My wife hates it when I do that. Yeah. Just got out of the shower, my beard is a little scraggly. Full test. Gameplay. Water. It's all good. Is it very unprofessional when I drink on the video? I mean, people seem to enjoy it. So yeah, full test. He's a leader. He got nerfed. I think he deserved it. I mean, this particular deck, the full test deck, that was so popular last patch, it got nerfed a lot. Full test lost 3 points on his charges in total. Vernon Roche costs 1 more and has 1 less power. Pavetta costs 1 more, and Draug only transforms the row it's placed on. Those are a lot of nerfs, but that deck was insane. Alright? And something had to be done about Draug now that the Revenants lost reach, so at least that change was fair. My chair is really squeaky. Of course, now it doesn't want to do anything. Thank you, chair. Bastard. And there is the Roche, which of course is still a good card. Look at what it does. Creates an extra commando, lets you thin out the commandos without having drawn the commandos. It adds power, it adds consistency. Carryover, technically, if you want to count the Pavetta stuff as carryover. But having to use reinforcements on the commando itself, that's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm committing Hemdall here just because I saw an opportunity to get 13 points. My opponent was tempoing ahead of me, and against this deck, I really felt the need to bleed. Surprisingly enough, I really wanted to bleed this boy. You know, it's in times like this when I miss my Assimilate deck, where I muzzle one of them, I spheres one of them, I experimental remedy one of them. Used to Ardal one of them, but I don't play Ardal in that deck currently. I'm playing Calvate for the extra provision and the Yennefer's Invocation combo. Which, if you're thinking that combo is too gimmicky, don't. I've played so many matches with that deck and that card right now, and that card never disappoints. Never. It's always good. I feel like full test decks are the decks that I see that play the most funky cards out of nowhere. Curse of Corruption. I mean, you know, full test doesn't really go higher than 5, besides Pavetta and Draug, which are late game plays. But Curse of Corruption, why? Why? We'll never know. We'll never know. So you got the carryover, which is very annoying for me. because I can't pass to get my card back, nor do I want to pass. I of course want to bleed him and ideally 2-0 him, but that is really hard when he has 5 points of carryover and is a card up. But of course, like any round we go into, if he gets those commandos out, like we're screwed anyway. Like we're so screwed. So here I'm thinking about using my leader. Of course, that's committal. Very committal. But I decided to do it because, you know, like I said, we are at such a disadvantage, and if he gets his commandos, then we're screwed. And of course, he just plays Falibor, which, thanks to the Uncrate Longship ping, is not enough for him to take the round. So he also has to play the Blue Stripe Scout. And so we get both his cards out of him. We're pretty close to actually 2-0ing him, but it is what it is. Here's what I was talking about with getting punished for the long round heavy hand. And of course, like, he already beat us. With that one play, he already beat our entire hand. So that was one of the 2 losses I had with this deck. And I gotta say, like, I'm happy with my decision to push him to the very end. I was actually really close to just 2-0ing him. If we had just a bit more power, it would have worked out pretty perfectly. But, you know. Like, the mistake was going into round 3. Really. Of course, if I saved my leader, it still wouldn't have been enough, I think, but it would have been better. But then he would have had a card up. He would have been a card up. Which would have made it even worse, I think. So yeah, Eldane. Taking out the Tursek veteran with his incendiary trap. That's pretty good. I'm just setting up at the rain. Rain is fairly easy to get value from, especially now that a lot of bronzes are bigger. You know, they stay in the rain for longer. Of course, he can move out of the rain, which makes me sad. Very sad. And he's got the new green horn card back, which I guess if you don't know, like, there seem to be a lot of people who didn't know this. There's new rewards for completing the tutorial, and you know, anyone who's already done it, like most people, you know, you just get those rewards, and they are that card back that is using the green one with the crown, which I actually really like. I've used it a couple of times. You also get a border, which is just like a slightly cracked, pure, thick gold border, which is very simplistic, and I actually really like that too. I'm currently using it. I didn't use it yet in these matches, but I am using it on, you know, in real time, Gwent. You can call it that, right? So of course, taking elves off the board is sort of a priority, but Eldane doesn't really struggle with getting Aileron out, because you can just turn those uninteractive traps into elves. But then you are forcing some charges out of him, which is really good. And we're pretty close to... I wonder, do I pass here? No, I don't think I do. I think I play one more card, and I use the tactical advantage. I don't use the tactical advantage, but I do get a big swing I love it when the veteran hits the berserk. That is so cool. Like, that card went from being, you know, meh, to being decent. You know, when it only damaged itself by 3, it became decent. There's a 5 for 5, sets up a good Hjalmar. You can heal it. And then now it's just insane. Such a big boy card. I love it. I love it. So we took the first round. Not dry passing. I was just gonna say that maybe we dry pass. I don't exactly know why I didn't. Is there a reason not to dry pass against Eldain? I guess I was in bleeding mode, which, you know, you often find yourself in with this deck, but then he played that trash card, and I just took the pass after all. You know, it gained nothing, really. But I didn't lose much either. So it's fine. Gotta get rid of the rain. There you see Geralt Ard, which of course replaced Aquist. That card hasn't been spectacular, but it's been pretty good. Even though the card says that he damages first and then moves, it's actually the other way around. So when you move stuff to the ranged row, if you have a greatsword there, it will be triggered by the damage. Which is pretty nice. Yorvet's Gambit comes down. Always a card I hate seeing, because it does stuff like that. Putting 2 traps on the board can be pretty good if you play your deck correctly, which this guy more or less did. And you're gonna see how saving the longship, like I could have just spent the ping. Of course, there's nothing to gain from that, but saving it is detrimental to this game. So like we're just getting shitty cards, like absolute trash. Maybe I should have played Dagger there. Probably should to get that out of my hand. In this particular matchup, playing Hjalmar into the Pitfall Trap would have been a lot better. Of course, Hemdall would have been an easy 11 points, so that would have also been better than Hjalmar. So I kind of messed that one up, actually. But as you see, this was the tie that I told you about. But yeah, I messed it up. Like, I could have won this game if I just played Dagger first and then thrown Hjalmar under the bus, because he was only like a 6-point card. That's nothing. So I misplayed that game, but we ended up with a draw, so it was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. And my throat is really aching, hurting. I don't actually sound like that yet, but it's... Gotta drink some water. I gotta end this video and go drink so much water. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, there is a like button down below, which you could click, you know, which would let me know that you enjoyed it. And it helps my videos get promoted on YouTube, helps new people find my channel, which I really appreciate. So thank you so much for that. Of course, if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Okay? Come on. Do I even have to tell you to subscribe? Subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see next. What decks are you playing with the new patch? I'm looking for ideas. I want to play a vampire deck, so if you got a good list, link it down below. Send it to me on Twitter, Discord, whatever. You know how to reach me. Links are down below. Check out the latest custom card review. It was a pretty cool one. And check out my latest article on teamrankstar.com talking about 2 exclusive custom cards that didn't appear in my review. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one, guys. And until next time, bye.